It's time to stop!
What is up, Netflix fans? Welcome back to my channel. We're here again, the sequel to the sequel, the next 365 days. Is this the movie to right the ship? Is this the one that fully delivers on the promise of the concept? Let's do it. So Laura and Massimo's relationship hangs in the balance as they try to overcome trust issues while a tenacious Nacho works to push them apart. Let's start with the rating. No change here. It's R or TVMA, however you want to put it, because porn. Let's get into the actual story. And we saw that kind of cliffhanger at the end of the last movie where everything went down with his twin, but now she's torn between a relationship with Massimo and a relationship with Nacho. And as crazy as the ending of that second movie was, everything seems hunky-dory at the beginning of this movie because she's, doing the stuff with Massimo, all's fine and well. And then Nacho comes back into the lives of our character, really our characters, and it starts to mess things up, right? Let's start with the dialogue, right? There's a scene at the beginning of this movie where Massimo leaves one of his meetings to go do the thing with Laura, and Laura's friend's like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. Tell me all about it. And I'm like, why? You know how many times she's done this. Why do you need to know more about this specific time?
Why?
Massimo seems like more of a controlling character this time around. I mean, he's always been that in the first two films, but this time around, it feels kind of on that toxic level of like, well, no wonder she wants to kind of go for Nacho, and her dreams are all about Nacho all throughout this film until one point where she has a dream about both of them. She's torn, right? They're trying to show us that she doesn't know which direction to lean in and where do I go from here. Now, you have all of these underlying plot threads and storylines that were built up and set up in the first film about Massimo's empire and the reason for his wealth and, the relationship with his father, all of that stuff that's mentioned in passing in this movie. But it's never really made prominent in this film other than the main beginning when they're in the midst of this meeting, kind of discussing the fallout of the last film, because this entire third film, I mean, from start to finish, is all about Laura being torn between these two guys, but in the midst of being torn, she goes to some kind of fashion thing. She goes out with her friend. Massimo's doing some meetings, and Nacho's driving her around in a little cab, and well, that's about it. Yes, I'm starting to get worn down by this franchise, but at this point, it almost seems so repetitive to sit here and just bash it over and over and over like there's no plot, little to no direction. The main point I want to bring up in this review is we are back to where we were in the last film, right? We got about 15 minutes in this film, and I'm like, oh, okay. No montages yet, no music videos, and not even music videos in the midst of the sex, beyond the sex. It's just, you got this pop song or whatever genre it is playing while they're kind of walking around and all of these slow fades and transitions, and it has nothing to do with the movie itself, and we're doing fairly well. So just that first 15 minutes made me look at this movie as an upgrade on the last one. And then it happened, and it kept happening. And we're back to the music videos. And that's why I feel like me just sitting here and bashing that over and over, it just feels so repetitive because that's exactly what I just did 3 months ago talking about the second film, because it's the same exact mistake. There is little to no plot other than that story of which guy do I decide between, but that could have made for a 20-minute short film. It just could have. Let's pause real quick. I'm going to read the entire first chapter of Dune for you. In the week before their departure to Arrakis, when all the final scurrying about had reached a nearly unbearable frenzy... Hello?
Guess what?
What? Wait. Hang on. I'm doing my review for 365 Days, Part 3. I don't know what else to say because it was terrible. Say hi to everybody.
Oh, are you in the middle of filming?
Yeah.
Hi.
Give your review on the movie even though you haven't seen it.
It was so terrible. I can't believe they put that garbage out.
Thanks, honey. You read my mind.
Okay.
That's the review.
to go.
Look, unless you're ridiculously invested in the fact that she's torn between these two guys, that is really the only thing of note in this movie, and the rest is just nonsensical running around. It has nothing to do with it. It just feels like such a pointless experience other than the sex scenes. Like, if you get a lot out of the sex scenes, that's fine. That's okay. But it's not a cohesive film. Maybe the filmmakers know that by now. And I think part of me feels as if they're starting to embrace that, right? They could have strayed away from doing music video after music video in this film, but they just didn't do it. They said, you know what? Screw it. We're going to keep going. We're going to do the same thing that we've been doing, and we're going to keep doing it, and we're not going to stop. And part of me respects that, but judging it as a cohesive movie, a couple of visuals that were nice. Otherwise, the story is a complete and utter mess. It's not even a mess. It's just void of any emotion. It's void of anything. And there's no plot in this. There's absolutely no plot. You get a little in the beginning, a little in the end, and the middle is just I'll say this, no ridiculous brother storyline in this movie, so it has that going for it. And I appreciate the effort that the actors put in. They are committing physically, and that's good. Before I give you guys my score, if you like these movies, that's fine. I apologize, this was the most incomprehensive review, but I thought I would match the movies with the review, if that makes sense. And if you enjoyed this video, you want to drop a thumbs up, cool. That'd be awesome. I appreciate it. At this point, the 365 Days franchise is almost aware of the types of films that are being put out. That being said, it does not excuse the lack of any cohesion or plot. I believe I gave the last movie a 10%. I'm going to up that to a 12% because I do believe this one was better than the last. 12%.
Give yourself 12% of credit.
12%.
An argument can be made for 15.
Is that it? Is that... Well, okay, that's the review. Thank you all for being here. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for being here. Come back for the next one. Hey, I don't know what to tell you.